Hello, welcome to Ivalo, 300 kilometres inside the Arctic Circle. Behind me I have track number 27 and Anastasia, the T6 van. The reason she's called Anastasia is for a story for another day, well, a soapbox rant actually. But what I want to talk to you about today is why we're here, basically in the frozen north. It's only -7 today, it's positively Baltic really. What we're doing today is testing Central European winter tyres for one of our clients. And we come here because we need the cold. We can't simulate this. Everyone says, can you do this inside? Or it's not really possible. So what we have here is a specially prepared track, which has a really constant surface. And at the moment, my colleague Chris, the genuine orc, what he is doing is he is running around the track for us and he's re-preparing the surface. I've already done the entire test suite today, so we've used a reference tyre, so a tyre from the marketplace, the client's CMP, so current model production tyre, and we're testing 2 new tyres. So what we're doing here is making sure that the tyres are safe and stable for our client's customers. So when you go and buy these tyres, we've tested them in this extreme condition. But it is extremely beautiful. I do really enjoy winter testing. Testing snow and ice, especially the handling, it's absolutely fabulous. And the one thing you just cannot replicate is the sunrises. This is actually the sunset. So it's now 1 o'clock in the afternoon and the colours are just absolutely amazing. So we're very lucky really that we get this opportunity to come here and do this testing. And we'll show you a little bit more as the weeks go on. We've got loads of tests to do, lots of different test vehicles. We'll introduce all the different test cars. We'll introduce the team. So preparation of the surfaces is absolutely critical. We need the track not to change throughout the test. So we have to re-prepare it every single time. So I'll go out, I'll do 5 laps back to the workshop, which is what I'm going to do now. With the 2 guys in the workshop working really hard. It's not just about me throwing shapes and having fun. Without the team, we can't make this happen. So if you want to see just how difficult it is, but how enjoyable it is being here in UTAC, in Ivalo, please give us a like, a subscribe, and follow on. So we're still here on track 27, which is the snow handling track. And I'm going to go out now on my reference tyre. The track's just been resurfaced because we've changed programs. So we're now doing all-season winter van. And we wanted a complete reset of the surface before we went out. So I need to deactivate the stability program. And these are very clearly different to the winters straight off the bat.
So just to give you a bit of an idea of what's going on here, Ray's now gone out on the reference tyre, which is the one we're going to compare all the other tyres to. He's gone out to do a couple of laps, and that's going to be used as our comparator for all the other tyres.
So I've got quite a lot more understeer, obviously a lower level of grip, which we would expect, especially with the all-season, because they're going to have a little bit of a compromise in that they will work in winter. They do tend to be a bit more biased to be working in wet and dry conditions, whereas the winter tyre, this is its element really. So what I'm looking for here is traction, grip, stability, my steering response, my braking performance. Can I position the car on the track? So when I'm turning, now I'm in slip, what happens if I turn more or turn less? How does the car handle? Does the front axle slip? Does the rear axle slip? Or worse, is the balance unpredictable? Does it go into understeer and then into oversteer? It looks very extreme and we're sliding around, it looks like racing. It's not. We're not actually chasing the lap time. The lap time comes naturally from the tyre's performance. I don't change what I'm doing. So I don't change my position on the track and I don't change what I do with the car. I let the car talk to me. And then I rerun everything in my mind back on the computer and I write down all the attributes, the things that I've felt. So I'm not actually paying any attention sort of consciously to what I'm doing here. This is all autonomous. So my driving now, after doing this for more than 2 decades, I don't actually think about what I'm doing. That's the reason why I can sit here and look at the track and talk to the camera And we'll now do this. I'll go back to the workshop. You'll see that the guys are working really hard in the workshop. They change the tyres really quickly. It's important that we keep the tyres at the same temperature as the test conditions, so the ambient. So the tyres are kept in a cold store, so they've got a limited amount of minutes to get the tyres out. The wheels changed on the car, in this case the van, and then get the van back out into the climate that we're testing, which is outdoors. Because what we don't want is warm tyres, because that wouldn't be relevant. Customers don't warm their tyres. We're not F1 with tyre heaters. Your car is sat outside all night and you'll get into it and you'll drive it to the shops. So obviously they become more hard and less grippy as it becomes cold. So we can't put a warm winter tyre on, which would then be far more grippy than it would be in the real world. Because that's the whole point to this, we're trying to simulate the real world. So I've got my VBox Automotive VBox Touch. So it's a 25 Hz data logger, GPS data logger. And what that's doing, it's monitoring my lap time for me. So I've just seen that I've put 3 consistent laps in, they're within a couple of tenths. So I'll take that data, I'll fill it into the report, because ultimately if we can drive around here faster in a controlled manner and have a close lap time, that tells me and the tyre designer, the person that has to interpret all of this data for us, they'll look at the materials that have gone into the tyre and the process, the production process, the curing times, all these sort of attributes that they can amend, and they will then know what to change if they need to change anything. So it's like targeting. What we're trying to do is get closer and closer to the bullseye. So when I say the steering doesn't feel good or the braking performance is poor, they'll keep changing things in a scientific manner, in a controlled way, until we get the performance that we're all happy with. Just spin the camera around. Hopefully you can see my view and you can see the sunset. It's absolutely beautiful here. We're really lucky to be able to come to these fabulous places. We're in 3rd gear, so 2nd and 3rd gear, just touching 94 kilometers an hour is my peak speed that I saw there. So well over 50 miles an hour on a twisty, snowy track. And now we have, if I can show you, over here we have Chris. So Chris is going to go and do the grading for us. So he's going to make the surface back to new, so that each tyre gets the same surface. So for now I just have to sit here, enjoy the sunshine, the last of the sunshine, and wait for Chris to come round. The timing tends to work, so he'll have done his 6 grading laps, so refresh the surface for me in the time it takes the guys to change the wheels and tyres and me to fill in my report. So it's quite a slick, efficient operation. Years of experience goes in. I'm 46 years old now. I've been doing this since about 2002. So with my overtime, I've got about 75 years of experience. The track looks lovely. Let's give it a feel. So immediately the steering feels completely different. This is a completely different brand of tyre. It's getting too hot in here. So the steering response is very much reduced. So the vehicle is understeering quite significantly more than with the other tyre. There is quite a price difference between these 2 tyres, but this 2nd tyre is one that's in the marketplace and it has an acceptable level of performance, and the van is quite oversteery. Very much oversteery actually. So we've got quite an unpredictable balance. It goes from understeer to oversteer, so I can already tell within a couple of corners that this tyre's performance isn't as strong. And if the customer is driving on this tyre and they need to do something like swerve around something in the road, they run the risk of the vehicle becoming unstable. So it's our job to ensure that my clients' tyres don't do that, and we want everybody to have safe, stable and enjoyable tyres. I want everyone, when they fit one of my tyres, all my clients' tyres that we've spent the time to co-develop and test. I want them to be pleased, happy. It's almost like silent engineering. If the tyre's good, no one's going to complain. But if they have an accident, that is quite wild. Make for a good video. And it costs an absolute fortune to come here and do this. My clients' proactive investment in your safety is hidden away, really. These tyres, I've done now 2 or 3 laps, and I am really struggling, and we're going to just about nearly run out of road there. They're a good 4 seconds a lap slower, which is quite a margin. It's quite a large margin, and I am struggling with the slip point. You can hear it in the engine. It's taking me longer before I can apply the throttle. You can see that my steering corrections are larger, and I had to do quite a lot of work when the vehicle went into oversteer. I can't overlap the brakes. If I put the throttle and it pushes wide in the corner. And through that I was already doing my little check, so if I put the vehicle into slip and I don't do anything about it and let it build like that, you can see that's full lock to lock. What I was looking for then was if the tyre would do something for us. If when the vehicle began to slip, would it naturally resist the slip? Now I did that 1 lap back, it didn't hurt my lap time. Because we want the tyre to have some natural, slow progression to slip, some natural resistance. It needs to push back, it needs to stabilise the van for us, or the car, or whatever vehicle we're driving. That's what we're looking for. So this is why we need to push with the electronics off. I've recoded the ESP system in this van. The ABS is working, but that's it. When you buy the van, it has a stability program and lets you turn the traction control off. I was told the other day the difference between messing around and finding out is if you document the results, it then becomes science. So what we are doing here is science. My business is registered as scientific research, because that's what we are actually doing. Although it does look outwardly like you're having a lot of fun. I'm not saying I'm not having fun, but it is professional fun.